Hello YouTube, it's your boy Vintage Sterling Finds, back for another exciting video. This video, top 5 mistakes I used to make when buying watches. This is a fan requested video, so please sit back, relax, enjoy the video. If you're interested in watches, jewelry, look in the description, there's a link to my Etsy store. Use the code 10OFF, 10% off. Also, there's Amazon affiliate links for the tools I use. If you like, please like, comment, subscribe. I love hearing from you guys. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. Mistake number 1, not looking close enough. So, this is a diesel watch. As you can see, there's no crown, which is hard to get. It's scratched up. A couple scratches on the crystal. It does have the bracelet, which I'm selling separately. I got this in a junk box for $2, so I thought, oh, diesel. I didn't even really look at it. But I've made this mistake quite a few times. You'll see a watch like this, but I always like to test the crown. Does it work? Pull out the crown. Move it. Then also, and with a mechanical watch, wind it. Put it to your ear. Not just for 3 seconds, because a lot of the time those old watches will run for a second or two. I like to put them for 20, 30 seconds. If you hear a click, 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 and it keeps going, chances are that watch is okay. Another thing, always look in the back. As you can see, there's water damage along here, a little bit there, water damage there, there. This just pops out. Looks like there's some battery acid there. I don't know if that's water damage, battery acid, but whatever it is, it's not good for the watch. So for $2, I really don't care. Somebody might buy this for a parts watch, and I am selling the strap separately on Etsy, so I really don't care. Mistake number 2, buying fakes. Now, it doesn't happen to me often, and I have gotten better at looking at them, but this watch is a fake. It cost me like $20 at the local thrift store. I picked it up. It looks good. Everything looks good. But after further inspection, you can just tell there's quite a few issues. From this is kind of flimsy. This is plastic. Logo doesn't look quite right. Also, the long geese is a little bit crooked, and the easiest way to tell is we can just pop the back, and the back, how can you guys see that? Let's turn it around. It says Elemix, made in China. So I should have looked at this watch better. I didn't, and that's my own fault. And even this I got in a junk bag, Gucci. And again, the logo's not quite right. The back, you can tell is not, it's like it was almost carved in. This doesn't line, it's straight on, but the logo's off, where it matches the crown and stem. And again, this is a Miyota Japan movement, not the right movement. So that little bit of knowledge would have saved me $20. Now, I can't sell this watch because it's a fake. But that's the cost of doing business. Number 3 is not reaching out for help. As silly as this may sound, there's tons of resources out there. Not just me having a YouTube channel. There's Facebook groups, amateur watchmaking. I'm a member. There's quite a few people I've also met, I've bought and sold watches to that are resources. And I would have questions. I would look online. Nothing. I would meet somebody, ask them, they would know like that. And then the other part of this, number 3, not reaching out for help, is just not realizing that there would be when I started, very, very small problems that I'd say, oh, I'm not buying the watch. For example, the crown would be unscrewed. I'd say, oh, it's broken. it can just be glued. I have a video doing that. There was one time I didn't buy a watch when I started because it was missing the spring bar here. I looked on Amazon. I think 500 was $6 or $7. There was one time I used to pass on watches because the acrylic, the plastic was broken. And I passed on quite a few when I first started, not realizing that I got a box of crystals for almost free. And also crystal lifts are quite cheap. Here's my crystal lift. I have a video on me replacing a crystal. It's quite easy. This was like 20 something on Amazon. I have that in my Amazon affiliate links in the description. And just by buying watches with issues, you get the best deals. So if you go, 99.9% of people, if this is smashed, they'll almost give you the watch for free. Like, oh, take it for parts. Even a lot of the times, Timex watches are very similar in movements. I've found ones missing the stem and crown. I have hundreds of watches in parts. Same with Seikos. I'll just take this off, put it on the one that's missing it, see if the watch works. If not, throw it in the parts. But that I missed tons of watches just that way. The next mistake I did, number 4, was pricing. For example, a watch like this, wow, a Bulova, in good condition. It must be worth, from the 1930s, it must be worth at least $1,000. This must be a super, super rare and valuable watch. And it turns out, they're not worth what at the start I thought they were. On the flip side, I've had watches. One of them was a Certina. I sold it on my Etsy for $50. I had one just like it a couple months ago. I sold for $180. So I've been on both sides of the pricing things too high and nobody buys them, or pricing things too low and leaving a lot of money on the table. It can be hard to price watches because on eBay there are tons and tons and tons of watches, and a lot of them just sit there. If you want to see what I do, a couple videos before, there's a Linus Peanuts watch where I actually go on to eBay sold listings to see what they sell for. That has helped me huge, seeing what they actually sell for and go from there. Number 5. Now this mistake took me a little while to overcome, but it was being cheap. I'm not talking about just throwing money around, burning money. I'm just talking about seeing this, or this is a junk jewelry bag, but usually these are $14.99 from Salvation Army, and thinking, wow, so many watches for $15. I'm going to buy that. When 90% were no-name China watches. Random sports watches I've never heard of, that have virtually no resale value and no market. And by what I mean about being cheap is that somebody would say to me, wow, I have this Seiko 5 for $10. Beautiful watch, works great, I want $10. And when I started, I didn't have much money, and this was more of a hobby, so I'd say, I passed up quite a few saying, whoa, you want $10, $20? Nope. I'll buy this, get all these watches, and pass up on these. One time, and I lay awake at night thinking about this, one of my first watch deals I did, it's not on YouTube, but there was a guy, he had a box of probably 200, mainly ladies, mainly quartz watches, and I bought these for like $100. Then he said to me, he had these ladies' mechanical wind watches. Now these sell great for me, but at the time I'd never really sold any. He had a box like this, full of these. He said some work, some don't, some are broken, but he wanted $50 for the box. And me being cheap said, yeah, well, I don't know. I'd already spent $100, and I was worried in case that none of the watches worked, that in the $100, I didn't want to buy the junk watches. I was kind of nervous, so I said, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I said, would you do any better? And he said, well, I was asking $100, but because you're here buying the one box for $100, I'd give you a deal at the $50. But anything lower than that, I would just keep them. So I passed. And every day, that's the one deal that I just wish I bought those watches. Because I know I saw Bulova, Gruen, a whole bunch like that. And I even think some of them were gold, because I didn't look. But I'm willing to bet some I think would be gold. And some of them did work. He wound up a couple and they worked. But that's just, $100 was a lot of money for me. $150 was even more, and I passed. Now I did, maybe 6 months later, I messaged the guy. I said, would you still have the watches? Would you still do the deal? He responds back, says, yeah and no. So, there you go. I hope you guys liked the viewer requested video. Any other videos you want, let me know. I love hearing from you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.